Welcome back, and today we're talking about Tonikawa Over the Moon for You, episode 6. So, like always, let's just jump into it. Episode 6 of Tonikawa Over the Moon for You was a pretty chill episode. I feel like not a lot happened this episode, but they're setting up episode 7 for something that I've been waiting for a very long time. But essentially, this episode opens up with Tsukasa and Nasa kind of, they're in bed sleeping. Of course, Nasa cannot sleep, and it doesn't help that Tsukasa is really like a restless sleeper. She sleepwalk, and she kind of, she just goes all over the apartment walking, and it's kind of funny, really. I will say, whenever, Tsukasa was going through her sleeping routine, where she gets up, drinks water, and then jumps into bed with Nasa, it was really funny. But at a certain point, to me, it got kind of cringy whenever Nasa started like hugging her and kind of moving his arm up her area. Like it just kind of was kind of cringy, because the way I'm looking at it is, Tsukasa and Nasa, they just met about a week ago, maybe. I don't know how fast time is going through this anime, but it's only been about a week, I would guess. And even though they're married, right, and this is something that normal marriage couples do, I still think that in my eyes, they're kind of strangers. And, Nasa and Tsukasa, even though they're married, what Nasa did, she was asleep, kind of like gets into the whole consent stuff. But, it's an anime, it's not real. And again, they are married. And when Tsukasa woke up, I was kind of like, ooh, is he in trouble? What's going to happen? Are they going to tackle this issue? And it just turns out that, Tsukasa woke up, she did her little funny face and kind of kissed him. And then, they kissed 3 more times. And of course, Nasa was not able to get any sleep. So this whole thing, I thought, it was going to be an episode about Nasa trying to buy a bigger bed. But of course, it does not fit in the apartment. So he starts coming up with excuses in order to move into a bigger apartment. And I will say, I really didn't think this whole premise of the episode was that entertaining, because to me it felt like a filler episode almost, right? Like not a lot really happened in this episode. It wasn't up until Nasa had to call his parents in order to get like a co-signer for him to get a bigger apartment. I will say, whenever he was trying to convince Tsukasa as to why they need a bigger apartment, because he kind of walked in on her changing. And again, this is something that, if normal marriage couples, right, that have been dating for years and they are comfortable around each other, if I was to walk in on my wife while she's changing, it wouldn't be a big deal. I wouldn't be trying to get a bigger house, so it wouldn't happen. But again, in my eyes, I feel like they're strangers, and it is kind of awkward, right? Because they've only known each other for about a week. So it makes sense that when Nasa kind of went into the room and Tsukasa was changing, it doesn't matter how long they've been married, they're still kind of strangers, so it will be kind of awkward. But I love how Nasa, all the reasons that he gave in order to get a bigger apartment was literally movie references, how they'll be able to get a projector so they can watch movies a lot better, they can get a bigger TV. Like, it wasn't really anything else other than movie related stuff, because Tsukasa, she loves movies, so that's, that was good enough for her. But since they need a co-signer, Nasa essentially had to call her parents, his parents, and kind of tell them that he is married. And whenever his mom was screaming over the phone, funny, because again, what would you do if your son calls you saying that he all of a sudden is married, right? Like, you will have a lot of questions, you want to get information, because again, to me, it feels like Tsukasa will be trying to get money out of Nasa, even though at this point, I don't think that's the case. Tsukasa is a very well young lady, I don't think she's in it for the money, but Nasa's parents, they don't know that. Right? Tsukasa is a complete stranger to Nasa's parents. So they're probably just trying to protect, their child. And that's why they really want to meet Tsukasa. They're not going to co-sign the new apartment until they meet Tsukasa. So, of course, this kind of leads to the trip of Nasa and Tsukasa heading over to Nara. I believe that's where Nasa was born. His parents live in the Nara town. And it's going to be like a good trip. We see that Tsukasa gets a camera. She wants to take pictures of her life with Nasa. Now, for me, this raised a red flag. Not because of anything like, oh, she's, trying to get pictures or anything, like evil plans or anything like that. But to me, again, I am a firm believer that Casa has some type of life-threatening illness. And, this camera thing and her taking pictures with Nasa is really like to preserve her memory if she was to pass away. I'm guessing she has like a year or two left of her life. That's my guess. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like this anime is gonna hit us like a truck. It opened up with Nasa getting hit by a truck physically, and I think this anime is going to end with us getting hit by a truck emotionally, because again, that when she brought up the camera and she said that she doesn't want to take pictures of when she goes sightseeing in Nara or different places or anything like that, no, that she wants to take pictures of her life with Nasa, that to me screamed she's going to die. She is going to, something is going to happen where, you know, those pictures, those memories that Nasa and Tsukasa are going to be creating together, that's the last thing Nasa is going to have of her. So I am preparing emotionally for this because I do enjoy these characters, right? They're really funny. I really am invested in the story that Tsukasa and Nasa are kind of, you know, creating by themselves as a new married couple. It's a completely like strange thing to get married out of like the left field, completely out of nowhere, and it's a good adventure. I am having fun watching this, but man, I see it coming. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully my theory about this is wrong, because I don't want to see it. Now I do want to talk about the art style, because really the animation was, you know, the animation in this anime, nothing crazy, but the art style, to me, it felt like it was a little bit worse than usual. Like if I looked at the arms and the legs and those type of body parts of the characters, to me, it looked like it was very badly drawn. Now, maybe I'm noticing it now, or maybe it was really bad this episode, but I don't think it was that bad like in the first 5 episodes. Maybe the budget went down for episode 6. Who knows? Because again, to me, this episode felt like a filler episode. So maybe they didn't want to put a lot of money into this episode. But yeah, the arms, whenever they were pointing places and stuff like that, it looked really off to me. But again, this anime is not about the animation, right? We're not going to be talking about how good the animation is to for this anime. It wasn't great on episode 1. It don't need to be great in episode 6. But I'm just wondering, maybe you guys saw it as well, because to me, it looked very strange at some parts of the anime. Now, the last thing, of course, since Tsukasa and Nasa are heading over to Nara to meet Nasa's parents, of course, we see Chitose is following them because she doesn't approve of the marriage. Now, I think this is going to be like a great opportunity. For one, we're going to see Nasa's parents, so I really am looking forward to episode 7, because we're finally going to meet Nasa's parents and see their thought of this whole marriage. But I also believe this is going to be a great opportunity to kind of win over Chitose. I think once she meets Nasa's parents and they accept Tsukasa as a family member, and once they, you know, I'm sure they're gonna have family dinner and they're gonna get together and get to know each other. I'm sure we're gonna learn a lot about Tsukasa, and we're gonna learn about Chitose and their family conditions, because the maid did say that technically they're not even sisters. So that definitely means that either Chitose or Tsukasa are adopted, and I'm going to go ahead and say that Tsukasa is the adopted one. But we'll see. Definitely excited for episode 7. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments down below. And like always, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next episode.